FM, can you check to make sure you can hear me? Hi everyone, we're just doing a microphone check here first for a moment before I begin to speak. This is a new different headset, so just getting used to how it works. Yeah, we got a thumbs up, loud and clear. Okay, good. So, hey everyone out there. Wow, wow, wow. Let's look at the last week with a lot of heightened feelings of density, your empathic abilities, your sensations, your ability to feel. These have increased very much as well. But before I get into that, what I wish to say is that the real conscious entity of prime creator God, mother and father, is very real. Now, there are very few on earth that knows that they are very real yet. But what I will say more and more every day that ones are beginning to have the experience and that interaction, if you will, with the higher divine levels of reality and the abstract supernatural divine forces. And with that, for us that have experienced it, and there is no refuting, no denying uh, what it is, and that it's true, and that God is very real. So again, for us that know this, we come from this place of truth to share with the others, regardless of what ones think, and what their beliefs are. That is theirs, and we understand this, but we also know in time they will come to know as well that there is a actual external God, source, creator. So it's all part of one's journey, if you will, and with that, a lot of the good teachings in the steps with one's journey is to recognize the God within them first, to activate the spark of God within them. And then, during that stage, when they began to connect with what they call, their higher self, we got many labels and identification labels with, the ascension and everything that's occurring. But all of these labels, are perfectly fine. We need something to identify what we're speaking about. So, you know, typically, and there are always exceptions to the rule, typically, when they go in to the depths, when they begin this inner work, that's where they begin to discover the God self. And again, it's important to do all of this inner work to develop the God self as their own creator in this reality, to rationalize their core principles and get their priorities, straight, and begin to be in a place of responsibility and discipline in alignment with virtues and all of the good things. So, this is part of their process at least meeting this part of their self, their God self, that they have not known to this extent before. And what this does, it prepares the God self to meet the head honchos, if you will, the external gods. So, with this whole ascension, it is a process, and it's multifaceted, multi-layered as you go up. And the trick with all of it is keep an open mind constantly and understand that truth constantly changes as we go forward. However, truth is truth, and it's always based on positivity, good things, the God self, and the God within, and the God outside as well, which is a very real, separate, conscious entity for us that know this. However, again, getting back to knowing the God self within, that is a prerequisite. It is a priority to actually knowing that there is the external creator of all things. And, and it's at that moment when you become the God self to the point of changing all of your behavior, your demeanor, lining it with all of the good core principles, then many are ready to meet, if you will, the external conscious prime creator source God. And then one becomes humbled. And believe me, because as part of my divine journey at transitioning from human to divine, this is just what occurred. I was on earth for 47 years with my true divine identity hidden from me. I was in my egotistic state of at least believing, that God was, that I was God and the creator of the reality. But let me say, after a while it become obvious, if I was the creator, only creator of my reality and God, why would I choose, what we see in the world, if you will? But, at the moment when you meet God, then you actually know how small you are, and especially if it's unmistakable and absolutely profound with your first engagement or first contact with the big guy, prime creator, father, the head honcho. Let me tell you, you'll be humbled, and any man, no matter if you were a giant, you would fall to your knees when you know this truth. But I won't go any further into this, but I had this to state, the fact, not only for what I know to share with others, it's for many others like I that also know that the external God, prime creator, actually exists, and to share with them so that I know when you speak and you say you've heard the voice of God, or you've interacted with God, or some of the emissaries of lights, the angels, the archangels, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, all of these things I know are true. So what I'm saying is I'm supporting you as well. And, there are times with this ascension and what all of us are here on earth to do, that it becomes challenging at sharing these higher truths, and seeing ones reject them, and formulate, their own different beliefs that wants to make themselves God or goddesses, but it's all part of that incremental journey. But what we're saying is that with a great compassion, which is the understanding that all are on their journeys, and to observe and to assist when ones are open for that assistance. But when they're not open, we remain objective, and just be there and understand fully everyone's going through their journeys. And it's their beliefs that aligns them with their timeline trajectories and the ascension, the overall ascending timeline. And because of so many different beliefs that are out there yet, what you have is many levels uh, of existing in your own creation, if you will. But it's like a video game that, once you've experienced so much in one part of your reality, it becomes redundant and sickening, and You don't want it anymore, so then you're ready for the next expansive level. And it's constant outward expansion, at least here in this lower dimension yet. And when I say these lower dimensions, what I speak about, each one has their labels, and the labels that I use is that we're currently in a fourth dimensional state, and at times we also are straddling fifth dimensional state and the multi dimensions all at once, and somewhat hence the term the multi dimensional experience. Um, and having said this, the third dimension for what I teach and I share, that one is gone. And the label of the third dimension for I was where humanity was fully enslaved, no hope, constantly overpowered. And so that was pre 2012, and the main staple of the Great Awakening, if you will, occurred there, and everything changed, and all of humanity were transported to a fourth dimensional state, which so humanity was on the third dimensional level. The nefarious and the evil were on the fourth dimensional level. That's how they were able to suppress fully and control humanity by tapping in of some of the um, physics of the creational forces. And again, they were the illusions, masters of deception, to create storylines to get the people to believe. Then the people would create their own trap, their own enslavement world. But what occurred with in 2012, and as a result of divinity and the overall ascension, humanity, if you will, was put on the level playing field, the fourth dimension, where they could then begin to see the manipulation, the lies, the evil, and all of this. So it put them on a level playing field. And then what occurred also, because we are divine souls, children of God, if you will, there was the direct divine intervention to ensure that ones of you, all of you, get introduced to your more divine abilities and higher dimensional things like fifth dimensional, sixth dimensional, divine gifts, empowerments, abilities, co-creator abilities. While this nefarious darkness, it cannot go beyond 4D, so it stays here while you advance. But during the course of taking all of humanity into the fifth dimensional level, it is being played out physically to advance all of your brothers and sisters up above the confines of what this darkness had created. There is no negotiation with these fourth dimensional beings, if you will. For one thing, they are only dual dimensional. They are not multi-dimensional. For what they are and what they do, they cannot ascend to the higher levels. There is that main ingredient that cannot be defined, which is the spark of God. We can define it like that, but you cannot isolate it. And even though physics looked for the what is it, Bob Higgins particle, the God particle, it cannot be found, because what it actually is, the most minute particle, is it's just energy. It's creation itself, which comes from another dimension, and it operates on different physics. It does not operate on the same physics, what you enjoy and what you operate and what you see here in this reality. Um, So I began to ramble, typical Rick. Uh, so God is real, Mother and Father God, and much more. So this is what we share, and for I truly wish that in the blink of an eye, every soul of light would know this here right now, so we could get this all done, this mission. Because once one knows for sure that God is real, there is no fear or bad behavior, if you will, left in you, and you're ready, for that new world. So, and by knowing that God is real, that is your ticket out of here. That it is ascertained for sure, your ascension. But also, having said this, all of the souls upon earth, about 6 billion, their ascension are ascertained. The other 2 billion are not souls of light. They are constructs made by men, if you will. They are clones. Uh, they are clones. They are in vitro genetics. They are cyborgs. They are robotics, and when in the Bible there are things that are true and there are things that are manipulated, but with Jesus's Sermon on the Mount, he had mentioned in there in that time that men made by men do not go forward. But what he was referring to was this very time where you have what you call soulless minions and clones and what I just mentioned. So with that, it is also a truth. And again, for ones that have not seen the actual evil on the earth, I've seen awakened ones. I interact with so many. And, to some of them, they have not seen the evil, the actual evil, and the evil ones herself. So without seeing it, they don't know it's real. And what I can say is, yes, the evil is very real. I've experienced all of this, and I had to as well for the divine work I'm here on earth to do. I need to know all of the factors and ingredients, what's involved in this overall ascension and what everyone is contending with, and also tactics of the darkness, so that I can assist and guide one through it as well. For I myself, I am fine. I have already ascended. And like many of you that may be watching this, this is not about us. We can ascend at any time. It's about a lot of those souls that did not have in their, let's say, their consciousness, the how to do it and to do the inner work basically in the purity. But there's also many other contributing factors. So to allow for a planetary ascension to occur, it took many of us divine ones from, let's say, the higher levels. And yeah, there is the hierarchy. It doesn't matter whatever you look at in this world or in the other worlds until you are the full God creator. There's always someone above you, and there's someone above us. And going right back to the beginning, that is Mother and Father God, and our other angelic brothers and sisters that are in the etheric, in the astral, while we are here in the physical, incarnated manifest to liberate Earth and all of the souls from the trickery and the debacle of the evil world. But blah blah blah. So, having said that, I said God is real, and I just somewhat alluded to the Bible, and let's say the Quran and Gita, and all of these sort of guidelines of beliefs and core principles and stories. Within them, there is a lot of truth. Yes, everything I would say uh, that was public to some degree has been manipulated. However, again, some things, ancient knowledge and gnosis, has been preserved through antiquity to also give a more precise uh, guidelines for going forward, and to also increase the abilities of the individuals with their discernment at knowing more of the real truth. Now, in this great time, and what I'll refer to, because I constantly do refer to the revelations in the Bible. Now, let me say again, everything in the Bible cannot be uh, interpreted for the most part at face value. Everything is in the Bible is layered and messaged with layered messages, and it has to be interpreted in a metaphorical sense, but also from a higher perspective as well. As the consciousness increases, it's able to see the layered messages at passages and things that were in the Bible. And at the same time, this higher consciousness is able to see what was manipulation thrown in there, what doesn't belong. So you throw that out. But with the higher consciousness, you're able to connect the dots at what is truth, what serves, and what doesn't. So it is a discernment process as well. But I do refer and do reference the Bible, and one of the reasons because of that, the Father God, and also perhaps Mother God at times, points me in the direction. If there's a current thing occurring, sometimes I'll be shown a reference in the Bible that you can actually, say this applies to this now. And, one of the things like this is with the revelations where the floods were spoken about, the hailstones, the fires, the signs in the sky. But not only was it spoken about in Revelations, also Book of Daniel, Ezekiel, Matthew. So it has been pointed, it has been referenced, throughout the Bible. But the interesting thing is, if you can draw that direct connection to this now, and when you look worldwide, most currently, again, some unprecedented flooding once again in Virginia, in Kentucky, in the U.S., also here in Italy, Saudi Arabia with hailstorms, Australia flooding just again a few weeks ago, the Philippines with all of these unprecedented floods in the actual cities and towns as well. Uh, and, these are unprecedented floods, but in some cases, if you're able to see in some of the videos, you will see the water it's coming up from the ground in places. Yes, it's coming up from the sewers that get over full. That is common sense. But what I'm also saying is that the water is also coming up through the ground. If we look at North Carolina, with what in the East Coast, what happened there a few months ago, with that flooding that washed entire little villages away, and extensive flooding. That was unprecedented water that came from somewhere, and it didn't all come from the sky. A lot of it did, but also a lot of it came from underground. Now, you know, when you look at these things and you begin to connect all of these dots again, like hailstones in Saudi Arabia and Italy, and you know, a lot of these places, Brazil, unprecedented weather, what you're seeing, and of course, all of the signs in the skies. You know, with all of the pretty stratosphere clouds, the halos around the suns and the moon, uh, and many arcs. You know, science and meteorology, if you will, meteorology, they'll all have explanations, but also, you know, there comes a time when they cannot keep explaining abstract things like the beautiful signs in the skies, and then they'll say they are rare events. But again, it's much more than that. Ships are being seen, multi-dimensional ships by more and more. These are the benevolent galactics. There's also, let's say, from the malevolent force, there are concoctions and holographic projections at the same time in attempts to create a disconnect from the real thing and to create confusion and even fear. You know, the darkness with their main tactics is always to create fear, because then they control when they keep ones in fear. And with the ascension, that's why, you know, the basics is to do your inner work and not be controlled by fear or any form of it. And ones need to understand that fear is much more than just fear itself. The fear is actually anger, being able to get angry, being frustrated, annoyed, having impatience, having worry, having mistrust, attacking others. These are all fear-based acts and actions that ones it they act as anchors to this reality, but the darkness knows all of this, so they try to perpetrate uh, and propagate the circumstances to keep generating these fear actions from themselves with their families and what have you, because it's all about energy. And if a divine soul is able to go into any form of fear within them, then they're acted out and they affect reality, because all of reality resides on a polarity which determines a frequency, a vibration, and a frequency. However, I won't go too much into that right now. All right, oh, great. I'm seeing some comments now. um, you know, currently in the last week or so, there's ones are feeling more of a density, if you will, and ones are also feeling like, you know, what am I doing this for? I'm depressed. I look at the outside. I'm not seeing any change, and I'm feeling these dense energies. Well, what I had put out about a week ago, prior to this being this much more extensive, the density, aches, and pains, I put out that this was coming. And divinely, the reason why this was coming again for an extensive period, what you need to realize when you look at yourself, what you're feeling, and you know at least a bit of what's occurring with the energies, but also look at the other souls that are not awakened yet. And when they get inundated and bedridden, and they could be very healthy ones, you know, it also begins to wake them up to say, what is wrong? There is something wrong. But also, what you need to realize is that the spiritual battle between the darkness and the light is still ongoing in this physical world. We have already won it in the future and where we're at, but what we're doing So with the spiritual battle in the ethers, in the astral, we have already won that. But what we need to do and what we're doing is clenching the full win down here into the physical reality as well, so all of the souls come forward. So this is the divine operation with that. And everything is energy, and everything, all of creation is energy. And this is also what we kind of deal with, because there is the resistance, which is the evil, to the goodness. And again, the evil cannot create itself. What it does, it tricks the human souls into believing certain stories to create the fear, the energy for them, to keep it simple. Uh, so having said that, at the same time, there is immense fear worldwide. When you look at the world, things have got very dark and very sick, and one's separated, the selfish egos, and all of these things, that have occurred. And every day, more and more of the world, when you look at it, is in lack. And when you look at some of these staggering numbers today, I just use them for reference. When you have almost 1 billion people going hungry every day, that there's something desperate, drastically wrong with the world. And when you see over 15,000 children dying every day, yes, there's something very wrong. That is a savage, insane, psychopathic world. But, the reason for this is the system itself, and that is the dark system that caused this and caused classes of people, but more importantly, caused a poverty class, if you will. So it's by one's being selfish and being bought by luxury that ignored and are playing part of depriving so many of sustenance. Even though in constitutions and worldwide, let's say international law and things, everyone believes that the rights are preserved, and the rights to life. When one actually finds the truth, no, that is all a lie and just an illusion. But I don't need to go into those things in any depth, because most of you here know it, and those of you that may be watching for the first time, you will come to know this, and you will come to confirm it on your own accord in the future. And with this, everything I always say is always truth. Even though you may not believe it or think it, what I say in the future, you will know that what I have said now and in the past is truth. And I make that statement once again publicly, and I always do, because I know what the truth is. Now, with one of the things, that comes with these feelings and sensations, what I spoke about earlier, is that ones are feeling the density, feeling the pressure, uh, feeling the depression, even, if you will. What's the point? You're looking at, you've been doing all of your hard work, and you look at in the outside world at times, it looks like it regresses, that it doesn't change. But let me just say, it is changing, and again, it depends upon your vibration and your frequency. But also, there is the divine plan that is the priority, that decides yet what role you play in this reality. So you have your free will to some degree of choice, but you don't have your soul's full free will. For if you did, you would not be here. You would have already ascended out of here. And, that's obvious. But what I'm saying is that you have the free will to make the highest choices always. And this is what makes things easier for you as well. And it's also why the basics with the inner work and the core values is given to all, as a generic principle uh, to discover and work on so that you don't need to succumb to so much density and negativity as the worldwide ascension is occurring. Um, so, where was I at? I got to. So, ones are also feeling at this time, which is a beautiful thing, that they're not doing enough. That, as a result of feeling and seeing what's happening out there, you feel like you're just stagnant, that you're in a waiting period. Yes, somewhat we are in waiting periods, just like it has been this last week. Not much movement forward. And one of the reasons for that is because for you that is advanced, there are times that we do so much work that's applied to the future that we got to wait for the rest of reality because it's on a lower vibration and frequency. It has to catch up to that new reality, new timeline we created. So there is an incubation and an integration process with that. So there are times that we got to sit and wait and have the patience. But it's also times like that where the feelings are stronger with your sensations, and because your empathy, your empathic abilities have increased, at the same time, it divinely inspires and triggers that thing. All right, I got to do something more. What is it that I can do? And, ones will feel this. They feel they should be doing more, but what should they be doing? What can be the most beneficial, and what can assist? For the first thing, it's not about that you're not doing enough. What it's doing is activating at the soul level the inspiration to get in alignment with doing more. So it's a premonitionary effect through the feeling that comes that lets you know, yes, you are going to be doing more in the future, but you just don't know what it is yet. So the guidance with that is to recognize it. All right, you're being divinely pinged that you feel you should be doing more. You don't know what it is yet, but you recognize it and you are open for higher divine service when that occurs. And you can say these affirmations. I do that, put out posts about that periodically. So you can do this affirmation, you say it out loud with the universe because everything is frequency, but when you say it out loud, you're putting your divine energetic signature out in this reality, and it does have impacts and effects, but it also connects you with what you are asking for. In this case, you are ready for higher divine service. So you say, quote, I am ready for higher divine service, and so it is, unquote. And by doing this and speaking it out loud, you have no expectations. Don't have expectations on what it will be. And for one of the reasons, you are dealing with the divine abstract world. You are not dealing with the logical world. So what you don't wish to do is to restrict the reply by having an expectation on what it should be and then totally miss it because of that. You need to be totally open to accept and receive whatever comes your way. It could be that you needed a temporary job, perhaps, to put you in a position to see someone else, to meet someone else, because a lot of the timelines are divinely pre orchestrated. So you might receive a phone call out of the blue for a job offer. It may seem weird and uncanny and very supernatural because it is. It's coming from the divine element that's assisting you to set you up uh, on your highest divine timeline in your highest divine service. So with this ascension, you're perfectly fine. One of the most important elements is to have full trust in yourself in connection to Prime Creator in this overall divine plan. Once you have full trust that you're not questioning yourself and questioning many things over and over and going in that direction looking for negative things, once you're not doing that any longer, then you're in trust, you're positively aligned, you're in the now moment, and what you are showing is divine prompts that you follow. So it makes it easier for you to navigate. And again, take the human logic and rationale out of it. You're interacting with supernatural, abstract divinity, and it does not work on the human logic. It is above it, it is in the magical creational worlds. Can everyone hear me good? This mic set still working? Hi, everyone. Can someone just give me a comment here that this is, you're still hearing me well? See, Rose Thomas put up. I'll answer some questions here shortly. Yeah, I believe everyone's hearing. This is good. I did see someone's mentioned on here. I see some comments. I was busy rambling on. Uh, I see some comments. One is about head expansion, and this is connected when I speak about the pineal gland. Um, so, having said this, and also I saw someone with a sore arm. One's also in this ascension time, there are ascension symptoms, and there is also physical symptoms with ones that occur. So it's the individual's discernment. If you're questioning, if you have an ailment or a pain, and if you're questioning and have a fear that it may be something else, just go and get it checked out by the doctors. And in this ascension journey, I'd like to say more times than not, when you go to get something checked out, the results will come back nothing. The doctor will find nothing. But then this confirms to you that it is an ascension symptom. But also, if ones are in certain states of fear yet, that you may have a physical ailment that does need to be corrected. But when this occurs, also, uh, it is also part of your experience as a divine soul to also know what's involved with this, the feelings, what's involved, but also the natural remedies. So, what you are doing is compiling information on whatever sickness that you may have. Now, what I can say is that no one dies, death does not exist, but when ones ascend now from this reality, you leave a physical vessel behind, but poof, you got a new vessel in the next high dimension reality. Death does not exist. So this is important, not to have any fear and to be prudent, also knowing your own ability at curing every sickness as well, and using the alternative holistic modalities, techniques, remedies, methods. That's so important to always use those because, again, it's very important not to include chemical drugs and these other things into your physical vessel. There needs to be the individual responsibility and discipline with your physical vessels because what you are doing is evolving these physical vessels to exist in a higher dimensional reality. And part of that is keeping your vibration high so that you emit a higher harmonics, a frequency that enables you to sustain an existence in a higher reality where there is no density. And this is simple physics. Not only is it metaphysics, what we teach, but it's also simple physics. So it's common sense, if you will, to should be to most, awakening. And one of the basics, one of the labels that we give you, get that vibration raised. It's so important. It raises your frequency, and it's an important basic part of one's journey and being prudent with your physical vessel, and that involves the diet. It is very important. All of the foods, the different foods you consume, and the the drinks that you drink, if you will. Now, so with ascension symptoms, if you're uncertain, and follow your own guidance with this. But what I can say, and many can attest to this, that and I will myself, before I was awakened to my divinity, I think I had what was I mimicked every disease that was known to mankind, I think, and had extensive journeys to the doctor when I was still human. And I go to the doctor would look at me, there's nothing wrong. We don't find anything wrong, Rick. And I would say, well, I cannot have these pains and I cannot have blood coming out of my body everywhere. As I said, there must be something wrong. He said, well, I believe you, what you're telling me, but what our tests are saying, there's nothing wrong. So, excuse me. So, just to share with and then after that, I spoke with Father, and knowing the truth that I share with you, we're used at times as divine guinea pigs to go through the experience, to learn the remedies, to compile the information, to assist our brothers and sisters. Again, it's not about us, but at times we need to have these experiences to assist our brothers and sisters. Now, yes, there may be times we lose some brother. We don't lose brothers and sisters. They actually go ahead. But that's because their divine role and their divine purpose has been done in this lower density reality. And they have served their divine purpose, and they go forward, they ascend. But for the most part, most of us stay here to secure the planetary ascension, and to give an analogy, to rescue all of the souls from purgatory into the first level of heaven on earth. That is our divine mission. And it becomes yucky at times, but we persevere, and it's important to keep in trust, and surrender in the now moment, and keep your rational consciousness and your rational trust about you at all times. I'm going to check, let's see, and I'll answer some questions I saw there. I did have a lengthy list, and I've been doing a lot of talking, and we're 48 minutes into this, and what I have it on my list, I'm only about 1/3 through that, and I haven't answered questions yet. Well, let's see, I can do another live later, but let me look at some questions that you have up there. Sound therapy, yes, all of these healing modalities and techniques with sound therapy, uh, bilateral beats, all of these are binaural, uh, whatever the correct term is. Anything with sound, harmonics, frequencies does assist as well, but also understand to be use your discernment, your heart resonance when you listen to a beat or a vibration. Just take a moment when you begin to listen to it to feel that it is genuine and that it's not layered with some lesser density vibrations like in hertz, like 111 or 222 or something like those. You don't want those. Sometimes out there is piggyback frequencies, hertz frequencies that are on things. It's part of the subliminal old programming. So what you want to tend to do is you want to tend to go to the higher frequencies, because when you do that, you raise your own self to the higher frequencies out of the scope of the sickness. You don't want to go on the same levels of vibration and frequency, what is assigned to whatever sickness you may have. You want to go to the perfect health one, which fixes everything. And these are higher tones, higher pitch frequencies as well. And also, when ones of you hear the toning in your ears, the high pitch, this is associated with your placement in reality and your vibration, that it's getting up there, that it's good. And likewise, if you hear a lower pitch static, you'll know that the outside reality is not harmonic, it's distorted, it's erratic, just from, two extremes to listen with that. So Leona says, so we are ascending with the planet. What we are doing is the physical vessel of Gaia, Earth. We are ascending Earth and the human souls forward with that as a collective. The Earth has an electromagnetic field, which is a toroidal field, which is the same as the individuals, and you're all connected. We're all connected here to Earth. And yes, at this time, it is a planetary ascension. It will be the planetary ascension always, but there's just some particulars in between with the timing on this as well. And one of the reasons, the variables with the timing on this, is that we have so many co-creators that have variables in beliefs, and at the same time you have the resistance of darkness that is very desperate and afraid, and they keep attempting to create new storylines to distort and distract ones. So you have some variables that if they can prolong things. So this is also why it's important to get your heart discernment feature working to maximum, and then it becomes more easier to see. And also the pineal gland is opening, the third eye, extrasensory is opening, and it's makes it more readily easy to discern at what is truth, what is distortion, what is manipulation, and all of these things. Belinda says, well, that message, all right, here it is. Yeah, with Belinda about, your whole spine, neck area. What I need to say with these things, essential oils are very good. And again, the holistic, natural remedies and the newer healings techniques and modalities. But also, ones need to understand your physical vessel is also evolving to acclimatize with a higher operating state of existence. So every part of your body, your physical organic body, is affected, and it is evolving internally at the cellular level. So again, this is one of the reasons during your body evolving, even though you're you're feeling physical pain and you go to a doctor, there is no reason for it because the discomfort is caused by the evolution of the cell of the cells and the cellular structure in that area. But uh, what I've been doing, Belinda, lately is that when I see ones saying about hot burning feels and as an example in the neck area, what I've been doing is it depends where the one there's so many contributing factors now. It depends on the individual where they're at in the level of their journey. It depends on the environmental factors because each one as an empath is becoming stronger. So what I am finding now that instead of a set of basics, a generic guidelines for one thing, remedies and fixes all, uh, it is more, it needs to be more customized now to the individual because you, in reality, your effects, your impacts, and your feelings of reality has changed immensely from a year and a half ago. So there are new guidances and new guidelines and that are given on an individual level as well. And for I, with what I do, it's an evaluation process that interacting with the individual and getting more of the information in their reality as well. And that's an important part at guiding and assisting ones because you can identify inhibiting factors in their reality, what's important. And when you identify, you're speaking about it with the individual. And through that dialogue, it begins to open up the energetic doorway and remedy to better affect that. So you're more efficient and more productive, I am, by being customized with the individual at evaluating their situation to see what are the most distinct inhibitors that are keeping one's anchored. Um, so I'm feeling with you, Belinda, I'm feeling there's some microwave uh, interference in your reality wherever you are at there. That's why I'm saying right now to get into detail with that. I cannot, but if you wish to speak, Femke and I are also open to assist ones, and doing that on a um, more or less an impromptu basis and on a divine basis rather than schedule it on a clock, say, hey, we'll speak on 3 o'clock Friday afternoon. I say, no, we don't want the clock to control this. We want divinity and the feelings of each to be when the right time is to speak. So with many that have sent Femke and I messages, this is what we're saying. We're not scheduling a definite time and restricting any by the clock. Just send us a message sometime when you know you're going to have an hour or so to speak. Just send us a message an hour before. And if we're not assisting another, we are open and here for you at that time. So, great. Look at a couple more questions here. Becky asks, that we are sending higher dimensions. We are creating a lot of these earth changes like flooding and earthquakes in 3D. Can you confirm this or expand on how this happens? What is occurring is the stress, the fear stress. So you have the darkness that is out there that, see, fear is an energy and it has a stress and it's has a polarity. So also does the entire earth, Gaia, have a polarity, an electromagnetic field. So what occurs if it's oversaturated with stress? It begins to cause a lot of chaos, and also it has dimensional effects because in this most auspicious, unprecedented time, we are taking Gaia into a higher dimensional reality. So this is unprecedented, the effects with it. So to maintain a balance and a control, instead of having a whole worldwide flood, it's marginal, but at the same time, it's giving ones the messages to know, perhaps, just perhaps, some of the things written in the Bible or the scripture in prophecy is true. So then it catches their attention and assists with awakening as well. But again, it's so important for ones, yes, not to go into fear, because then you create and you generate an energetic stress that gets also reflected into Gaia. So hopefully that answers your question. And Coco in the house. And she can't help but wonder why it is to be painful as we move to a better place. I know, Coco, Marisha, I know what you're saying, and earlier I discussed that it's not about us, it's about the others, but it's a part of it, and we persevere, and we get through it. And, let's say if it could magically be done with the snap of the fingers, we would not even be needed on Earth to do this, to ascend the world out of the savagery into a place of civility, if it was able to be done that way. But it's obvious it's not done that way, so we need to incur at least some of the pain and the prolongation and the effects of it, and also by with the higher consciousness and greater discernment and experience, you're able to assist others through this. So this is what I was going to say. It is the way that it is, at least for now. But Coco, I totally what's the word? It just went. But I know what you're saying. So there's no way but forward. There's that one way. So we just keep going, and there's no other way. No way to the side, no way to the back. There's only the one way that eradicates this agony for everyone forever, and that's the way forward, meaning everyone do their inner work to a degree, get their co-creator abilities done, and we transform this earth out of this reality as well. So it is what it is, and as I said before, it's not this selfish individual job of just one having an experience and ascending here. I can give it to all of you. No, it's not. If it was, and Femke can attest to this, we would not be in this reality at all. But again, there is that knowing, let's say for ones, and for I from Father, that we did, let's say, sign a soul contract to sign ourselves in here so that we couldn't leave until this very important divine mission is done. So there is the mission attached with it. It's the reason why all of you are still here. As I said before, some serve their divine role and they ascend forward, but very few yet. Because it's not about us individually. It's about Gaia, Earth, and the whole reality, and the souls that are, if you will, entrapped in that purgatory. Yes, and Leona says, what about all new technology? Should we engage? Uncertain what you're saying about that. One thing I can say is that one of my observations with artificial intelligence, uh, when you look at artificial intelligence, it's only created from, it's only as, how to, I'm looking for the words to explain this. The artificial intelligence is only as good as the input, what it puts into the level of consciousness, the input that is in there. Having said this, what we're seeing with the artificial intelligence, it is and will be used to the good divine humanities use to whatever degree that may be. And what happens is the Christ consciousness, the higher divine consciousness, is the priority influence on AI. So, what this means is that AI cannot be used for nefarious purposes in the future because the Christ consciousness, the higher consciousness, the super consciousness is the superior consciousness, which will program it, but it's already programming it. If you begin to just do some AI searches or chat GP searches, what you're beginning to find is more of the truth and more of whatever topic that you search for, but you'll see what's more accessible is a lot more of the tools to take you forward. So just by observing this, it's telling you that actually no, divinity controls all technology as well. Again, we're just in that process of fully assimilating the technology with the higher consciousness. That makes sense. And Annie asks, when will the remnants of darkness be cleared, please, Rick? Well, one of the most distinct answers to that is when we have enough co creators believing that they don't exist and believing that we are the omnipotent, invincible divinity creating the world where they don't exist. So when there is enough of us in unity, divine ones worldwide, what we do is we create that new reality, the flashpoint, right out of where they cannot exist. Keep it simple. So you ask me when. It depends on what every individual does as a collective and what they're aligned with, what we're saying, and what the Ascension vehicle I put out, gpms.world. Once we have the majority uh, vote and consent gathered worldwide by every individual, every child, woman, and man, then it's done. There is no more darkness, if you will. They are voted out energetically, and also because of what gpms.world is. So, what I will say, when GPMS begins to go viral, hopefully at any moment, and reach that majority physical support of ones agreeing to ratify it, that is the point when all darkness is gone. So it's the people's choice as well, and the soul's choice, what they wish to choose. So, what other questions? I see there was a lot of questions, or some anyway, here. So I just need to scroll and just see what questions were here that I didn't answer yet. Excuse me. I see many comments, which is great. So I'm just looking for any with question marks on them. Then I'll know it's a question. Hey, from Germany. And oh, scrolling back up, Pamela Ballo on her way to doing God's work. Any insights? All I say is I cheer you on and everyone on and support everyone doing God's work, if you will. And just remain steadfast with that and trust and believe in it and don't waver from your beliefs and continue with that. And we get it done. I don't really see any, if I didn't answer the questions in the queue here, just re-put them down. But I think I answered the comments with question marks. So if I didn't, you can just re-put them in the comments if you wish. I'm going to continue on with a few more things here anyway. So the next thing, I see a question here by Miriam. I believe this is about GPMS. So she asked, people think by consenting there would be an obligation to do something. No, there is no obligation to do anything. What we do ask for those that feel they can assist, they will say that they can and join their brothers and sisters that are uh, taking the roles to ensure we get the worldwide consent gathered. But there is no obligation for ones to do something. But it's at the same time each that consents that divinely will do something, they will feel it and want to do it. But no one is compelled or obligated to do that. However, on the divine level, again, the ones that will contribute will do it. So no, you just say right now we are in gathering the consent phase at gathering the majority, so we ratify lawfully into law the new replacement system of GPMS.world. So right at this time our focus is on gathering the consent of every child, woman, and man to comprise a majority worldwide, because everyone knows a majority rules, and it's the majority worldwide of 4.1 billion that ratify this into law, GPMS. So your free, abundant world, and excuse me, and all of no more fighting, no more harm, or no more disharmony, no more wealth disparity. Everyone's in a beautiful, comfortable, equal wealth, and well, it is the heaven on earth. It's complete harmony. So it's common sense that the majority will inevitably choose it. It is the absolute solution for everything. But, it becomes each one's own choice, but it's to share it or to take more proactive action at getting it to the people. But so far, with the consciousness of the people in the past and even in the awakened communities, there's many that don't even see the simplicity of it yet, the logic of it, and also the seriousness of it, and the lawful aspect of it. For I am well versed in law and finance and all of these things, and it's a part of what I divinely had to do. And, for it's so simple. A majority rules. You get the majority to consent to this new world, and that's what it is. But again, even ones, yet there's so many different beliefs, and it's been difficult for ones to recognize a common ground just to come together to physically vote to ratify an agreement for the new world. It's that easy, but one's yet with different levels of consciousness doesn't see how easy it is. Let me say, the entire pain and suffering on this world in your ascension and everything could be over in less than a month if we just had the majority recognizing the simplicity that a majority worldwide rules, and we're ratifying the new replacement system that puts everyone in complete abundance, complete joy, complete happiness, complete peace. But yet, something so simple evades their consciousness yet, which is amazing. But there's also the divine timing with this. Excuse me, and I'm going to get to this cough in a moment. It's because when ones are still in the processes of doing their inner work, of mastering the control from the fears, that come from the outside. So there still is a lot of that going on as well, because everyone needs to be prepared to acclimatize with a new positive reality where there is no darkness or any negativity. So that is also a process with restructuring the anatomy of your organic physical vessel too. But there's also the beautiful free radical element that with this, that you don't need all of the masses awake. You only need the powerful co-creators, enough of those that are enlightened to the degree that they have established, if you will, their full divinity and are not controlled by any sort of fear and do not go into the fear-based emotions and actions and deeds. And then as the co-creator element, it can create the flashpoint of reality as well. But still, it's many of those are elusive with what we're doing with GPMS.world. About a year ago, we looked at constructing and put it out there a light round table to this effect. And very few joined it. And even though we know that there's many that could call themselves, an enlightened one, very few were able to even perceive the simple ideology and logic of a majority rules. And, this is why you were awakened. This is the great awakening. You're not just awakened to accuse the system and everything of lying. You're actually awakened to know they lied, but you're here to create the new system, and which is GPMS.world. But to get caught up into those levels of not really knowing yet what they're here for. So we are still contending to some degree with that. We do have more awakening to get united with this at knowing it, but again, there still are things of separation yet that were out there, and I don't want to create them because I'd love for them all to disappear and all of the divine awakened enlightened ones come together with GPMS so we get this done worldwide for everyone, and it ends all of the darkness, it ends all of the fighting. But yet again, something so simple in this past is evading their consciousness for some reason. But the coughing, there's several factors with this. One thing what I suggest for all of you, get your groups do some air quality control, if you will. Just get your groups together, consciously come together, put your conscious focus on cleaning the air up. There is an unknown uh, sulfate element that is in it that we need to clear out of there. So that is a activation that some of you may wish to partake in and do on your own accord. If I need to do it extensive, I will put one out in the future, but at least we get started on cleaning up this reality. Now, also with the coughing and the mucus, what ones need to realize is that for many, your pineal gland is cracking and opening further. And this is also with one's got pressure on your head and feel the expansion. But also, as this occurs, your pineal gland is way inside here in the middle, and it's pretty small. But as it begins to get bigger and crack open, it begins to secrete fluids that comes down and will be drained partially through tears, through a purging, or in mostly in the nasal cavity. Your nose will drip. Also at the back of the throat, secretion will drip down and will give a coughing sensation as well. Also, some more side effects. You'll hear some clicks up in the roof of your mouth, depending on if your pineal gland is just beginning to crack open. Uh, but if it's already been opened, it's opening more, and there is secretion with that. so, uh, so sharing that as well. Um, let's see. I'm kind of, this is getting quite long. Let me say, I'm going to do another one. There's other things I wanted to speak about feelings, belief systems, how it affects higher vibration, the importance of it. A very important activation. Another part, I put out the heart preparation uh, exercise to prepare ones for the reasoning for the higher vibration, but also to begin to apply it to more of your multi-dimensional abilities. So this is very important, and I may speak about it later, or what may come before that is I may put out the actual exercise and the knowledge about it, so more of you can activate it in this most precious time. Let me look. So, yeah, I have what I've been doing with this. I had many points written, but with this live, I have been going more. I've become more elaborate and extensive on explaining things. So, having said this, with one point written, it's probably taking an average 10, 15 minutes just on that one point. And when I got about 20 points written here, you can see how lengthy and timey it could be, let alone answering any questions as well. What I believe is I'm going to take a break, and I'll have to do another one in the near future. Leona asks, how does GPMS function without money? Uh, it's important, Leona, that you go to this website and see that money is going to be abundantly shared with everyone. And when the old system, as a result, everything in the old system is quickly bought out, and then humanity realizes they don't need money at all when everyone is sharing in peace and in happiness. So the GPMS is only temporary to take all of humanity to that advanced state of being civil out of this present savage system. Then money's not required at all. So there's more than enough already on Earth. So that's what it does. It's GPMS, if you will, is the bridge between now, where money is being used, to the place where money is no longer needed. It has no purpose in the future. So, so Ruth Matus asked, is GPMS available in 3D or 5D? Ruth, with the terminology I use and labels, there is no longer a 3D. What I say is we're currently in a 4D yet because GPMS is not activated, but from 4D, as ones right now keep consenting to ratify it to comprise the majority, then it creates the 3D. See, when everyone is happy and in alignment with knowing that this new replacement reality is coming, it creates energetically so much joy and high vibration that poof, it creates it as well. So just to keep it as simple, again, as possible. And the sphenoid activations, yes, the butterfly bones as well are occurring. Also, there's a lot of activity all over the body, in the back of the neck, the back of the head, the crown, you name it, all over the physical vessel, hips, legs, everywhere. So, yeah, so much going on. So I answered a few questions. Thank you all for your questions, and we had a great session. I feel good about this, and it's been a long time, and what I've discovered, it's been so long that with some of the points that there's a lot of extensive information that I was able to elaborate upon, and yet, but much more, because again, we're entering another level of existence with knowledge and truth, where new things need to be shared and delivered and integrated into this now to advance one's forward, as well as part of the ascension process too. So what I will do is I'm going to leave this here. Elizabeth Walsh, I'll just answer this one last question. She says, what happens then to people who do have a lot of money? Do they cease to exist? I presume she's asking about in the GPMS replacement system world. The answer to this is, if you have a lawful billionaire right now, they keep everything. They don't they don't lose anything. They actually get more. So GPMS doesn't take from anyone, no matter how rich they are. It actually adds to them, because you need to look, for example, at a rich one no longer even needing to pay for any utilities, although it doesn't matter much to them. They don't need to pay for any utilities. If they have children, they don't need to pay for colleges or any of these things. No more health care. They keep everything what they got. The GPMS world is not, it's it's for the 85 to 90% of the world's population that is in great lack, in financial insecurity, meaning that they are working from day to day, week to week. So, let's say that 10 to 15% of the world's wealthy, and ones that are comfortable, uh, for them, they're fine already. But what this will do for those that will exist, it's going to add even more of a level of comfort for them as well. And really, they're big amounts of money. They can share that with ones, but really they won't need it. If they accumulated that wealth, lawfully, that is theirs. It doesn't matter, and this is not GPMS's concern on the small percent, the 10 or 15 worldwide. They are fine now. GPMS is being done because of the 85 to 90% worldwide that are in lack and hunger and all of these unnecessary things that the current system created because of competition and its capitalistic ways of disparity, wages, and classes, and what have you. So it'd be very beautiful to see these current wealthy philanthropists, and if they are true philanthropists and humanitarians, to assist to get GPMS done for these 85% of the people that are in current lack to some degree. And out of these 85 to 90%, 6 to 7 billion worldwide, out of them, 1 billion is going hungry every day, while every day about 35,000 are dying because of hunger, because of money, which is foolish. So because of the way money is created with this old system, and because of one supporting the old system, it's killing over 35,000 people daily, most of those children. That's a sick, savage world. That's why GPMS is the ultimate solution. It is the civilized world. It is the sane world. It is the divine world that everyone that has a heart, that is at least in their morals, knows that GPMS is the right way for all. So, again, it's yeah, I could go on and on about that, but that's enough. I'm so grateful for all of you joining I today, and I do have other assisting information, and I'll do a live, perhaps to conclude with what I had written on the list in the near future. Having said that, peace, love, and we got the light, I guess, light and gratitude, and have an amazing day. Thank you.